What, in your opinion, should be the major issues at this New South Wales election?
Well, the two big ones, Alan, that neither Minns nor Perrottet are willing to address are energy security. We've got just today forecasts confirming from the Australian Energy Market Operator, AEMO, and also New South Wales government documents from last year, confirming the inevitability of blackouts. Now, who would invest in New South Wales in manufacturing, mining, retail, if we can't guarantee to keep the lights on? We said this 2.5 years ago when we voted 85 times against Matt Kean's energy plan, which was 100% renewables within 10 years. We said coal-fired power is being driven out of the market and you'll end up with blackouts. And we've got AEMO today confirming that. It's an economic and social disaster in waiting. It's going to happen after the closure of Eraring power station at Lake Macquarie in just 2 years' time. I asked Perrottet at budget estimates last year, what are you doing to keep the lights on, given these forecasts after the closure of Eraring? And he said, I need to take some advice. Well, how reckless and negligent can you be? This is the most urgent issue for the economic well-being of the state. And the other big one, of course, is in education, where we've had the fastest falling school academic results in the world, not just Australia, the entire world. Adrian Piccoli, at a time when leftist teaching was going down the path of experiments and fads, getting away from the evidence of phonics and direct instruction and behavioural standards in the classroom, Piccoli and this madcap government said, we'll just do whatever you like out in the schools.
Yes.
We've got no central control over the core purpose and the evidence base of what a good classroom should be doing. So the education results have gone down the tube, and turning those around for the long-term future of our young people is also urgent work.
Well, let me come to that in a minute. I just want to go back to finish this thing here about energy, because Keane and the Premier seem to hate coal, and they're going to wipe out coal production as soon as they can. But coal royalties delivered an $11.1 billion improvement in government revenue. Where is that money going to come from? Mind you, they spent it all because expenses grew by over $13 billion. Where does this money come from? Forget the replacement energy. Where's the replacement money going to come from?
Well, that's a very good question. It's another crisis in the budget. And just yesterday, we had the IPA pointing out in New South Wales that net zero will cost the state 138,000 jobs, mainly in rural and regional areas. John Barilaro, when he was leader of the National Party, said that net zero would wipe out agriculture and mining in New South Wales. What did the National Party do? The National Party rolled over and said to Matt Kean, well, you go do net zero, even though it's going to hurt the people they're supposed to represent. So Kean has dominated this government. He's dominated the National Party. He's dominated Perrottet. And the economic recklessness of where we're headed is absolutely
just on that,
dreadful. And the only thing the National Party does in return is throw electoral bribes around.
Yeah, well, there's no way in the world that bloke Toole would convince anyone to vote National. But just on this economic recklessness, because this is really critical issue. For example, the cost of the new fleet of trains is going to blow out by more than $1 billion. That's 1,000 million. The Police Association say staffing levels in Western Sydney are a recipe disaster. Now, it's one thing to say, elect us again. But Matt Kean says electric vehicles will make up 50% of new car sales by 2030. That's an untruth, and it's absolute rubbish. I mean, the International Energy Agency says by 2030, quote, if all countries live up to their promises, the world would have 140 million electric cars, 7% of the global fleet. Keane says 50%. He'll build 30,000 charging stations, offer a $3,000 rebate for the first 25,000 new battery, electric and hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. I mean, what the hell is going on here, Mark?
Well, it's policy madness. I mean, all those apartment towers they build in Sydney, where do people charge these electric vehicles? There's no charging stations for that. And why should taxpayers be subsidising the construction of charging stations for people who can afford $70,000 cars?
And where do you put
that in itself is a huge inequity.